Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel Hebraica, and today we're looking at the Psalm 23. I'm using a codex, and I like using a codex because it gives us certain challenges as to spotting things. It helps us see some things, and some things a little bit harder to see. But anyway, it makes it interesting. It makes it, and it helps us get the feel of how things go. This codex was written 1,000 years ago. Somebody took a little took a brush and he brushed it out onto a pergamon, onto a scroll, or into a piece of leather. The leather was put into a book, a codex. It's a codex. It's not a scroll. It's a codex, and we have it today. It's been conserved through the years. Somebody took good care of it in the synagogues, and later on, it's come into the museums and so forth. So it's available online to the public. I find that very nice to have material that we can see. I also have actually a couple printed versions of it. So whenever I have a chance to avail myself to that, I do it. It's just a fantastic resource to be able to look to these things and use them in study. So Psalm 23, Psalm of David, Psalm of very personable, very psalm with a lot of meaning, a lot of feeling to it, a lot of comfort. In fact, the comfort syllable, that's nun chet, appears 3 times. It's the only base root that appears 3 times through it. So we see it. It's beautiful, and when we read it, it comforts us. It stills our soul. It brings us close to God, and it tells us very clearly how Jehovah takes care of each one. It's written in mostly singular verbs and forms, and then of course it makes it very personable. So Psalm 23, let's get into the study. Psalm of David, Mishmor LeDavid, and here it is, the codex. You can see the ancient consonants and vowel pointings. It is a Masoretic text, of course. It has a lot of nice vowel pointings on it, and even includes the lovely rafes here and there. I'm getting used to seeing the rafes. Every time you see a rafe, you kind of duck down and look inside that consonant to make sure there's no dagish. So, and that's basically what it does. It emphasizes the fact that this particular consonant does not have a dagish. So David, okay, wouldn't be able to say much as to. I would keep it from pronouncing it a little stronger, but or it wouldn't make it pleasant. Wouldn't give punch to that letter when there's a rafe on top. It just moves us right along. I consider it almost like banks or like boards alongside a flowing stream that guide us through the reading. Okay, just sort of slides us through or moves us through the reading. It has that effect on me when I'm reading it. Mishmor LeDavid, this is a psalm of David, and his personality really does come through it. Some psalms you go, maybe they're just dedicated to David, but in fact the LeDavid belongs to David or dedicated to David. This one really does come through as belonging to David. In other words, David had a hand in writing it, at least in some way. He and his scribes together put it together and assembled it into a beautiful psalm. So Mishmor LeDavid, Yehovah Roi Lo Etzar. Jehovah is shepherding. This is a tetragrammaton. I've already explained why I'm willing to say the divine name, Jehoshaphat, Yehoshua. Lots of combined names that include the divine name in it. Joshua and Jehoshaphat, so forth, some of the more prominent ones. And so I'm quite willing to use the divine name and pronounce it the same way that those particular combined names, Joshua or Yehoshua or Yehoshaphat, how they were pronouncing it. That's how I'm pronouncing it here. I take that pronunciation from the way it's pronounced in certain combined names. Yehovah Roi, he is pasturing me, he's shepherding me. This is a participle. Now in Hebrew, participles quite often are used as nouns and usually are. And in fact, if you're going to look at other examples like the shepherds of Abraham and Lot and so forth fighting with each other. Same thing there. And so translating as the Lord is my shepherd is good. I have gone back to the participle sense of this word right here, because that makes whatever happens in the psalm the actions of a shepherd. These are the things that he is doing for us in our life. In other words, Jehovah is doing this whole list of things for us as we live our lives out. So it just makes it much more personal, much more action-packed. Now, the word I shall lack nothing, the word nothing is not in here. Often modern translations tend to keep themselves in what I'd call a Western materialistic concept of how things go. In other words, I lack nothing. The word nothing is not in here. It doesn't appear. You're going to start searching around for it, you won't find it. To lack something, or to be diminishing, or to be sliding down, it is there. Hetzar, and I'm not, okay? I'm not sliding down. I'm not retreating. I'm not going back. I'm not diminishing. And this is not happening. Why? Because Jehovah is caring for me. The Lord is keeping me in place, and I'm staying active in service because the Lord provides for that. So, Yehovah Roi Lo Esar, first person, and first person does appear 4 or 5 times through the passage. When I first started, I says, "Oh, it's only the front and back," but no, it's also through the middle here. We'll pick up on the first person. The first person appears prefixed verbs, suffix verb here, shevati. The other ones are prefix ire, lo ire, and kielech, and lo ire. These are prefixed first person prefixed verbs, and makes it very personable. Singular prefix verbs for I am not sliding down, I'm not diminishing, I'm not getting flushed into a deep hole. That's when you look at the word Hatzar in Genesis, it's the waters of the flood that are returning to the abyss, and I'm not heading in that direction because Jehovah is caring for me. Yehovah Roi Lo Etzar Benot, in pastures. In pastures, or on pastures. Benot, plural, feminine form. Holom tau here. Benoth. Okay, I can smooth it a little bit with the rafeh. Okay, Benoth. Deshe, Yir Besheni. Yar Besheni. He stretches me out. Okay, Rav is to be lengthened. Yar Besheni. He's giving me rest. He's giving me a nice place to stretch out in a green pasture. Deshet is not just simple color green, it's also a very active place. It's a very fruitful place. Deshet, okay? Green. Deshet Yerosheni. Alme, menuchot, on waters that are restful, still. Okay, menuchot, still waters, restful waters, comforting waters. Ye nachaleni, he leads me beside those still waters. We have to understand still waters first of all, these are waters that are quiet. Now, quite often in Hebrew thought, the quiet waters of Israel, the waters that flow very gently and very calmly under the city of Jerusalem through the channels and canals that are under the city, or the waters that flow into the oases, the places where the shepherds would find water for their flocks, or even the wells out in the desert. Those are quiet places. Those waters, they won't destroy you. But the waters of the Euphrates and the waters of Egypt, the Nile, those flood out, and really the waters of Israel very rarely flood out. Well, they can have the floods, but generally the waters of Israel are comforting waters. So, Alme Menuchot Yechaleni, on waters that are still. Those still waters also bring stillness to me, to my soul. When I'm beside them, when I meditate on God, when those waters are there, they give me stillness also in my soul. Al me yemanhot yehaleni. Nafshi, okay, my soul. Nafshi, here's a shiluk in here, so pasuk, and this verse number 2. We ending verse number 2, beginning verse number 3 here. Nafshi yeshovev ye nachheni yanachheni ancheni be malgele sedek, okay, malgele sedek, in paths of righteousness. Now, start out with nafshi, my soul. Yeshovev, he restores it. My soul, he restores. Yehaleni, he leads me. Very similar to Yehaleni. This one was a hey and this one was a chet. So, but very similar verbs here. Yehaleni, he leads me. Be ma agale. Agale, gal is something that's round, circular, and this is the kind of path that we are constantly in. It's sort of, the path that we're used to taking, the path that we circle things with. Okay, the path of the guard on the wall of the city. Okay, something that goes around in gal. Okay, so I like the gal. Gal is Galil, Galilee. Abigail, the fathers going around in circles, and Gilgal, the round camp, and so forth. Gimel Lamed is a favorite route for me. So those things that are the paths that we constantly take. Okay, so and these are paths of righteousness. This is something the Lord teaches us that we must be doing. He leads me into a path that's right for Him, it's right for us. Tzedek. This is what the Lord is always seeking for us and wants of us. Paths of righteousness, Tzedek. Okay, Male, construct form here of a Tzedek Yod at the end of here. Me ha gale, in paths of righteousness. Le ma'an, for the sake of Shemo, His name. Okay, for the sake of His name, for the love of His name, for the purpose of doing something good with His name. So le ma'an Shemo. And so then here we do see nice sof pasuk, a nice shiluk sof pasuk here for the sake of His name. Next verse begins with gam, and gam ki elech. We've had etzar here. Now we have elech here. Even though I do not retire, I don't diminish, I don't flow away, I don't ebb away. And here it is, ki elech, even though, this is gam ki, even though, elech, I walk, okay, this is prefixed on to halach, the hay has been assimilated, or hay has had a fetuses, the root would be halach, but the hay, you don't see it here anymore, you see the aleph, okay, ki elech, I walk, be, in. Now we've been in Benot, we've been in different places, and here we're into another difficult place, okay? Be-ge, in the valley, shal mavet, in the valley of the shadow of death, okay? So be-ge shal mavet. Ge, there are numerous ways to say valley in Hebrew. Basically, I'm going to compare Nahal, which is a wide open valley, and Ge, which is a narrow, deep valley. And the difference is, in an open valley, you have a chance to fight your enemy, like David taking on Goliath in the Elah Valley. But here, when you're in this Ge, you're trapped. You're closed in. You're surrounded by walls on both sides, and the enemy can be on the top, throwing stuff down on top of you. I remember walking through some of the narrow valleys of Israel, and the local Palestinian kids, the pastor, the ones that were taking care of sheep and goats there, they'd throw rocks down at us from the top. We'd have to hold our study books on our heads to keep from getting clobbered. So That's kind of gay. Okay, even though we're in a narrow spot, we're in a place that's tight, and it's tight because it's literally a very dangerous place. The shadow of death. This combination of Shel Mavet, Shel is a shadow, Mavet is death, has come together so much that even Strong's concordance presents it as a single word. It's come together so much it's now considered a single word, shadow of death. Okay, Begeh Shel Mavet. Even though I walk in the shadow of death, lo, I will not, ira, I will not fear ra. Okay, lo ira ra, I will not fear evil. Ki, because ata, imadi. Now, this ata puts in what I call a very directional shift within the psalm. Up to now, it's a description of there's Jehovah, this is what he does, and this is what he does to me, and this is what he does to me, and this is what he does to me, and this is what he does to me. And all of a sudden, David turns his face towards Jehovah and starts talking directly to him. Okay, here it's all been third person, first person, third person. He does this to me. He does this to me. He does this to me. And then all of a sudden you have you. And it's halfway through the psalm. This is what I call a ground shift in how this thing works. And ata, ki, okay, ki ata, imadi, because you are with me. Okay. I like looking for what I call morphological works of certain consonants, and this one here is one of the few times I've been able to spot a dalet doing something morphologically. Imi would be my people, but imadi, with me, okay, because you are with me, okay, imadi. Shivatecha u mishantecha hema yenachamuni. Now, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. It seems, and a lot of sometimes like the NIV when they first translated, they just put it all straight into one single shepherd's staff or one single shepherd's rod. If you look back into the law, you will find that shibotecha seems to be the little more dangerous weapon, the one that you can hurt your neighbor, you can kill your neighbor. This is shibotecha, and it's also used as the standard for the tribes of Israel. In other words, they have a shibat. They have a standard that tells where it is. Okay, when you set out the tribes of Israel in order, you set it through the shibatecha, through his standard, his rod. And mishontecha, that one's when the story of Elisha is presented, and he tells his servant to rush over and put the staff on the face of the young boy. It's the mishantecha. This is a little bit more life-giving. It's a little more something that guides us towards life. This one's so this is an offensive rod, and this one's a protective, life-giving rod or life-giving staff. And so the word rod is, wow, he can clobber, and the word staff is, yeah, he can care for us. So this is one for punishment. This one is for, it can be taken as punishing the evil ones, but also keeping us in line. Shivatecha, umishantecha, hema, they. Okay, so they, those things. Again, we're starting to see independent pronouns, and this one's you, and this is they, hema. Nich ye nachamuni, they comfort me. In other words, even though there's an offensive side to these instruments, those things are what the shepherd uses to care for me. In other words, the Lord is active in using his instruments in my life to guide me, to keep me, to protect me, to bring me life, as sometimes we saw in the case of Elisha and the young boy that lost his life. The staff was placed on his face. Yenachomeni, Yenachamuni, Taroch, and then we get on to the Lord setting up a table. a different scenario again here. And let's get on to that. You prepare. Taroch is to put something in order. It's also used for mustering troops. Okay, so put it all in order. Lifnei, Taroch lifnei, you prepare, you put in order before me. Shulhan, a table. This is the Lord all of a sudden takes in a scenario of setting up a table. He becomes a waiter. He becomes somebody who's preparing a place for us. Okay, Taroch lifnei shulhan neged shorai. This is something that rather than running into our enemies and beating them over the head with shivotecha or mishantecha, he sets out a table in front of them and says, okay, let's just have a nice meal together and settle down. And it's a very interesting scenario, something that you wouldn't really expect, but there are times that we have to sit across from somebody who we really don't like, but and somebody who's harassing us or somebody who's angry with us, but the Lord sets the table and we work to, if you're going to share a table with somebody, you're willing to work with them, you're willing to see their point of view and so forth. So Taroch lifnei shulhan, neged, in front of. Neged also is used as a verb for reporting on something, like hagid, and so neged, this is in front of. Shorai, I was looking for a translation here of this. These are people who criticize me or people who attack me, but these are my harassers, and I've gone with this particular word in English simply to reflect the shorai, okay, the ones who are making me sorry are shorai, okay, shorai, and the ones that are harassing me and the ones that are always after me. And deshanta, and you now we've seen this thing as this one's deshet, to be green, deshanta is to be generous, okay. Desha here means to be very abundant, okay. And we find that again here, the same dalet shin comes through again here. Deshanta, you anoint my head, beshemen, okay, with oil, my head. And so deshanta beshemen roshi, you anoint my head with oil. Oil, anointment, of course, and incidentally, it's not masha. It's not the same word it used for mashas, which is to become a messiah, to appoint me. This is to give me health, to bring that oil on my head and give me good health. So you're bringing good health. You're doing a good job on my hair, but also a great sign of blessing upon me, straight onto the top of my head here. Beshemen roshi. Kosi yiria, rivaya. Koshi rivaya. My cup is overflowing. There's abundance. Wow. Yes, there's so much there that sometimes I'm transferring grains and salt from a bin in a store into a cup, and the cup is overflowing. There's plenty of enough there. Okay, Koshi yer via. My cup overflows. The Lord is abundantly gracious to me, and this is only something that comes from the Lord. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Jehovah for long days. And here, this second to last verse is ended with Siluk Sof Pasuk right in here, and then Ak. Certainly, these short, what I would call exclamatory particles or words. We have it here, gam. This one's Ak. And then ki, I think, comes in here somewhere. Gam ki. And so they sort of hammer things down. Okay. So ak. So certainly, tov v'hesed, goodness and mercy. Okay. Yirdafuni, Kol Yirlufuni, follow me. Uh, uh, it's okay to translate it as follow me, but it's when the spies were at Jericho, and Rahab was telling them, head off over to the mountain over there. Why? Because the people that are going to chase you, those Radifunis, the ones who are chasing you, uh, they'll head over to the Jordan. They'll sit around for 3 days, and they'll come back, and then you can, uh, with calm, you'll go on your way. Uh, so it's more than just following; it is actually pursuing. Okay, those who pursue. So, but putting the word "they shall pursue me all the days of my life" sort of gives it a negative connotation. It's better to just leave it as follow. Okay, so surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. October Hesed Yerdafuni, Kol Yame Hai. Okay, all the days of my life. V'shavti bebeit Yehovah la'roch yamin. Okay, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for long days, for many long days. Sometimes translators sort of pack it in at the end and say forever. Yes, it does mean forever, but the whole matter of the Lord is with me through all the long stations of my life, all through all the days that I am living. The good Lord is with me through it all, and of course also into eternity. Now, I'll take the opportunity here with Shavti, dwell or live, to dwell, live in, based on the root and well-known root, yashav, to inhabit or to dwell in. But and then in this particular root here, of course, the first yod has been lost through a pharisee, but shav is still there. So shavti, to dwell in, I will live, I dwell. But we do have a nice little tau in here, and in Hebrew thought this is going to be probably bring some arguments from some people, but I like to see it, and I've seen it in numerous places. I saw it in Ruth 2 verse 7. I've seen it also with Elijah when he gets to Sarepta. I've seen it many places where all of a sudden you have Shin Bet Tau, and of course that's a beautiful root for Shabbat. Okay, so the first meaning of this verb, and I'm keeping it here, I will dwell, I shall dwell, shavti, and I've put it into the future here. Everything else in the passage that we've been looking at now, I've left in the present, but this is something that's coming, the days that are coming before us. So when we have days that's still ahead of us, we're looking now to the future. I will dwell. Shavti, I will dwell, and I will also be able to rest. Shabbat, okay? Shavti, I dwell. Shavti, I rest. And we're seeing both things working there. The first one is the one that's been translated, namely living or dwelling. And the second one is, we can also put a little bit of shuv into it, return to the house of the Lord, but it's mostly to live in, to return to it, to rest in it. So, V'shavti bebeit, in the house of Jehovah, Yehovah, and as you see, it's very much a matter of inclusio. We begin our passage here with Jehovah, Yehovah, Roi, and we end it with Bebeit Yehovah. Okay, so front and back, numerous connections from front to from the start to the end, and certain words here interconnected from the start to the finish. So beautiful finish here. Bebeit Yehovah la'roch yamim, for long days, and beautiful. This, of course, of Jehovah being our shepherd, Jesus and his teaching reminded us of that in our lives as well. And he said very clearly, Jesus said to his disciples, and he says to us, I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me. In other words, he knows us and knows our condition. He knows that sometimes we're going to need shibotecha, sometimes mishantecha. There's certain things that we're going to need, and he does that for us, cares for us, he guides us, and it's It's an active. It's not just a title. It's an activity. It's something the good Lord does for us. We must recognize that. He's our good shepherd. And also the scripture is very clear that those who are under shepherds have to be active in their work as well, to care for the people of God. So open your heart and your lives to God's direction and be comforted by the fact that Jehovah is shepherding us. He's caring for us each day, and we can live each day in comfort and not just the comfort of luxury, but a comfort of knowing that He is with us, and He's keeping hold of us, and He's leading us in the paths that He wants us to go. So may God bless, may God strengthen you in this day until the next time.